Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3070 laptop GPU in Forza Horizon 5. As usual, we're running it with the latest Nvidia drivers 516.40. The GPU is actually overclocked because we are utilizing the turbo mode here in the Armory Crate software from Asus. This is the Asus G17 gaming laptop from 2021 with a Ryzen 9 5900HX processor and 16GB of RAM, DDR4 3200 megahertz in dual channel. Over here in Tech Power-Up's GPU you can check out all of the GPU specs, and let's get right into the game now, shall we? And let's go over the settings first. I'm playing at the 1080p resolution, and I'm also going to test this one at 1440p and 4K using the Ultra settings preset, which I think is very adequate for this GPU. As you can see by the TDP, this is the 115 to 130 watt version of the card. It gets close to 130 watts in other games, by the way, but Forza Horizon 5, for some reason, that was terrible. As I was saying, Forza Horizon 5 actually behaves pretty weirdly when it comes to TDPs. Over in this laptop, it's not really too bad. It's at 120 watts of power. But for example, my 3080 Ti, which is a 350 watts GPU, it will actually utilize only around like 200, 250 watts at 1080p res, which is weird. And then at the 4K res, it will utilize the 350 watts of power. And same thing goes for like the 3060 Ti, which is a 200 watt GPU. I've seen that at 1080p utilizing like 150 watts or less than that even. And then at 4K resolution, it will utilize those 200 watts of power. Oh boy! And it's not like it's a CPU bottleneck and the GPU is underutilized. In those examples that I mentioned, GPU is always at 99% usage. So it's something very weird that I saw here in Forza Horizon 5, but it doesn't really happen here in this laptop, weirdly. Maybe because it's overclocked already. I don't know, but this is not the way, I think. This is not where I wanted to go. I am a little bit lost right now. Where is the stadium? We gotta get to the stadium first before we get to the big city. Also, driving around here is not really that intensive, and it's getting around 110 frames per second average, which is alright. You know, I expected a little bit better here at 1080p resolution, honestly, but this is perfectly playable and super smooth anyways. It also doesn't stutter whatsoever. We haven't seen a single stutter so far. Only at the beginning, whenever it starts, it gets like a couple of stutters, and then it smooths out, and it's super stable. Oh boy, okay, I really thought I was gonna crash there. We're almost in the big city, guys. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, yep, that was terrible, but we still have both mirrors on our car, so that's okay. Temperatures of the CPU and GPU are not high for a laptop. I've seen a lot of people saying that, oh, your laptop is cooking and whatever, but no, it's completely normal, and there goes our mirror. These are actually good temperatures for gaming laptops these days. Even like 85 degrees Celsius is good for laptops these days, guys, gaming laptops, which is, yeah, it's a little bit too much for my taste, but well, it's something you just gotta get used to. If you're used to desktops, of course it's gonna be much cooler. Anyways, over here we get a slight CPU bottleneck. You saw the GPU utilization dropping a bit. That's probably because of Optimus, but it doesn't really drop too much in FPS, so it's a perfectly smooth and stable experience still. I really enjoy it. And let's get out of the tunnel. This is the most GPU intensive thing that you can do in this game. Ooh boy, actually GPU usage went down a bit. But yes, it doesn't drop from 60, so it's a perfect experience here at 1080p resolution. Let's go up to 1440p now. And by the way, if you were wondering if you should buy this game now that it's on sale with a 3070 laptop, well, you should. It's a very fun game and it runs flawlessly. 2560 by 1440. My laptop actually has a 1440p monitor, so this is how I play this game. And let's start counting our FPS, run around or drive around the city for a little bit here once again. And as you can see, it doesn't really drop that much in performance compared to 1080p, does it? That always happens in this game. Like for the lower end GPUs, it's actually a super bad thing because you get like 20 FPS at 1080p, for example, and then you drop it down to 720p and you're expecting a great performance improvement, right? But no, you get like 25 or 27, something like that. Yeah, the scaling between resolutions in this game is either good or bad depending on your view. If you have a high-end GPU and you want to play at higher resolutions, it's good that you get almost the same FPS as lower resolutions or close enough, you know. And if you are playing at lower resolutions, well, it's kind of bad, right? But anyways, as you can see, it doesn't really drop that much. It's not that different from what we got at 1080p res, and it is pretty stable, pretty smooth as well. Let's see it in the most intensive scenario here, which is getting out of that tunnel once again. And also inside of the tunnel is a little bit intensive usually as well. Getting 70s here, and 60! There we go! Okay, last time I actually saw 59 there, so it didn't drop from 60 one bit, I believe. Although the 1% lows say otherwise, but well, it could have been like just a slight frame time spike or whatever. I'm not noticing any stuttering issues, by the way. Also, the car is ugly as heck without the spoiler there. I don't like that. The 1440p res is amazing in this game. If you play some races, by the way, you should get around the same FPS as in the tunnel. Okay, let's stop it there. And at 4K resolution, we should see the GPU power usage going up to 130 watt. Yeah, there we go. Right away. Okay, there we go. That's much better. And 4K resolution, oh, it is dropping from 60 FPS. Not by much, you know, we only dropped like 15 FPS coming from 1440p, I guess, around this area at least. But yeah, it is enough to put us below 60 FPS at times, which isn't perfect, but it's not the end of the world. In a game like Forza Horizon 5, I think you can get by with like 30 FPS, let alone like around 60 on average. It is pretty damn good still and pretty smooth, and I can't really feel those drops too much. If I didn't have the on-screen display over there, I would be absolutely fine. It would still feel smooth, especially with the G-Sync monitor, right? It's pretty great experience still. Oh my god, okay, that was really bad. And it actually dropped our FPS by a little bit. We're actually seeing a ton of cars around here, which is similar to what you'd see in a race, and it's not really dropping all that much, as you can probably tell. Please get out. Okay, thank you. So yeah, it drops into the lower 50s at times. It's okay, guys. It's actually totally fine in my opinion. I would probably play like this if I had my laptop connected to my external monitor, because it looks really good at ultra settings. I don't recommend you to drop it too high. As you can see, worst case scenario there, it drops to 46 or whatever. That's not a problem. It's still pretty smooth, pretty stable, pretty gorgeous. Pretty, you could say. And yeah, it's around 60 FPS on average. And this is in an intensive area, of course. If you get out of the city, for example, you can get slightly more FPS. You can see 70s almost, 69 actually was the maximum. That's beautiful, amazing frame rate right there. I always like the reflections in the car and the kind of lens flares that you get at times. Pretty interesting in this game. But alright, it's 60 FPS on average, and although a lot of people probably won't have a gaming laptop with a 4K screen and a 3070, this is still pretty useful, I think, if you want to connect your laptop to your TV, for example, 4K TV, and play with a controller or something. It will give you PS5-like performance, Xbox Series X-like performance, I guess. I think those probably run the game at 60 FPS with pretty similar graphics to these. We saw a little spike there in the frame time, by the way. So yeah, it will give you pretty decent results for sure. Also, I want to check this new option out here, which is the TAA, because this is new. This wasn't here before. We gotta restart it. Okay. All right, back to it after the restart. 4K res using the same ultra settings. The only thing different is that TAA is enabled, and that disabled MSAA, by the way. Wow. That actually looks, I'm not gonna say sharper, but it looks less shimmery. There are less jagged edges using TAA. than MSAA in this game. For sure, 100% you can definitely tell the difference. I'm not sure about on a YouTube video, but that looks insanely detailed still at the distance. Why didn't they include TAA at the beginning when the game came out? God damn, there goes our left mirror again. But it's insane. It looks so much better than MSAA, because MSAA in this game didn't look like it was using any anti-aliasing, honestly. It just looked like native resolution. You could still spot some jagged edges. But here with TAA, it looks like you're finally using some anti-aliasing, some proper anti-aliasing in this game. And it looks fantastic. Although, this is probably the least intensive area in the benchmark run. And I think it's getting less FPS. We didn't really test this area at 4K, but yeah, I'm not sure how many FPS we're gonna get in the city. Okay, this is it. We got a little stutter there. Not a problem though. It's the first one of these settings, and I guess it's getting slightly lower FPS, isn't it, guys? Very interesting. I'm not really too sure, but I think it's getting slightly lower. Just slightly. Let's see outside of the tunnel, by the way, because that's where it dropped the most. And inside of it, 51. Getting out of it, 45. So, I mean, it's almost the same thing, honestly. We're just going to test it out at 1440p now, guys. 2560 by 1440. Same thing here. And let's see if it drops from 60 FPS like this. Also, you can definitely tell that at 1440p it's actually a little bit softer than at MSAA 2 times, but oh, what the heck is this? What is happening here with the grass? Is it a party or something? That is pretty weird. Sometimes this game will have some graphical bugs for some reason. I don't know. It's pretty weird. I've seen it with a ton of GPUs so far. Usually older ones, but yeah, apparently it's happening here with this one, right? I think those are graphical bugs. It's not supposed to look like that. Yep, okay, anyways. Maybe it's the overclock, I don't know, but that looks extremely weird. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't change all that much. Maybe it drops a little bit more. But at 1440p it was already always above 60 frames per second, and it's still always above 60 frames per second. Maybe here it's gonna drop a little, I don't know, let's see. And, okay, 58. I mean, it's almost the same thing, guys. If you have a native 1440p monitor, I think it's gonna look pretty good here with TAA. Let's go and try it out at 1080p now and see. Okay, yes, this is... I'm not sure if it looks better or worse. If you prefer the less shimmery look, guys, it will be better like this. But if you prefer the sharper look, because this is starting to get a little bit soft here at 1080p. Wow, what the hell? Everything is breaking. The game is completely breaking. It's full of graphical bugs. That is so weird. Yes, I myself would probably go for MSAA, which looks like native res. I really like that sharpness. What the hell was that? Oh my god, oh, look at that, look at that. What is that? Holy crap, and everything is bugged right now over here as well. The more you play this game, the more buggy it gets. Anyways, I think that's been it for this video. I wouldn't really go to extreme settings, by the way, because they are way more taxing than ultra and look pretty much the same. I wouldn't go for high settings because it looks way worse than ultra and it gets you extremely high FPS. But honestly, I just don't feel the need to play with more FPS than these. And considering that it was already a flawless experience at every single resolution here on ultra settings, I think you should definitely go for ultra settings if you're playing this game with a GPU like this one. So that's been it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really hope you enjoyed it and it was informative and stuff. Let me know if you're gonna pick up this game in the Steam summer sale, which is going on right now. And let me know if you have seen these graphical issues as well with your Forza Horizon 5, because that's extremely weird. Anyways, thanks for watching again. Love you all. Bye-bye.